UD?
I think the Hawks came out, they played hard, they had a game plan, and they tried to stick with that. But I think when you look at the game, you can tell which team has playoff experience. You can tell which team has guys that have been in the struggle, been in those battles. I think New York was very intentional about where they wanted to go with the ball, what they wanted to do, how they wanted to attack. And I think it was a little bit different on the other end for Atlanta. I think they got a little bit out of whack a little bit out of rhythm. They didn't get to the points. They didn't attack Cat as much as I wanted them to. They didn't attack Brunson as much as I wanted them to, but I'm sure they'll make those adjustments.
Yeah, I thought it was good to see Cat get going in the second half. Not just the points, but just the way he was playing. He sort of mixed it up. He saw a shot go in, got downhill, played a little bit more physical, and was active. He rebounds. He always rebounds well, but came over, blocked some shots. Just his presence when he is active and he's moving around, showing emotion. I think that's the best version of Cat. So if you're a Knicks fan, that's promising to see.
I love Anunoby again, was hot. I think it was a typical Josh Hart game. He was in there getting his nose bloody, getting 14 rebounds, battling in there. Overall, I thought the Knicks actually did play an amazing offensive game. There were plenty of chances for the Hawks, but too many stretches where they couldn't score. It felt like there were some handoffs on the three-point line. Nobody really attacked. They weren't really shooting the ball well. Too many bad possessions overall. And at the end of the day, UD talked about pregame, how the Hawks needed more fast break points, speed up the pace. The Knicks beat them 23-14 in fast break points. It's obviously not a recipe for the Hawks to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hawks, they want to play fast. Coach Snyder wants them to play fast because they struggle in the half court. As you said, a lot of side-to-side stuff, not enough downhill stuff. But they rebounded the ball pretty well. They defended pretty well in stretches. As a team making their first collective playoff experience here, I think they got to take some of the positives and chip away at the offense. Yeah. How can we find some opportunities to get into the paint, draw and kick, to play? I think they played almost too fast. They were too frenetic, and I think they turned it over or had a hard time kind of converting opportunities. So take the good, keep chipping away at the bad, and see if they can gain that experience night to night in this series and claw back in it.
One thing that was pretty glaringly obvious is the lack of depth at the center position that Atlanta does not have. I mean, Okongwu does a good job. He's physically big enough to guard Cat, and he can move his feet and did some great things tonight. But after that, I mean, it drops off quickly, and I don't know what the Atlanta Hawks would do. I mean, Steve, if you were Atlanta's coach, are you going to try to switch those matchups? Or are you going to try to? I don't know what you do because of just a lack of
Well, it is a concern. I think the Jock Lundell piece, him not being unavailable really hurts them. Not only does he give them a backup center, but he gives them a stretch five, a little bit of more shooting out there, rebounds. So he's a little bit of a skill guy at the five. So,
what is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we are talking about the NBA playoffs. Game 1 in the books for several series. The Knicks handled the Hawks. The Nuggets sank the Timberwolves. The Cavaliers won. And the analysts on NBA Prime are breaking it all down. Let me get into it. First, the Knicks and the Hawks. The Hawks came out playing hard. They had a game plan, and they tried to stick with it. But one analyst pointed out that you can tell which team has playoff experience. You can tell which team has guys that have been in the struggle, been in those battles. New York was very intentional about where they wanted to go with the ball, what they wanted to do, how they wanted to attack. It was a little bit different on the other end for Atlanta. They got a little bit out of whack, a little bit out of rhythm. They did not attack Karl-Anthony Towns as much as the analyst wanted them to. They did not attack Jalen Brunson as much as he wanted them to. But he is sure they will make those adjustments. It was good to see Karl-Anthony Towns get going in the second half. Not just the points, but the way he was playing. He sort of mixed it up. He saw a shot go in, got downhill, played a little bit more physical, and was active. He always rebounds well, but he came over and blocked some shots. Just his presence. When he is active and moving around and showing emotion, that is the best version of Towns. If you are a Knicks fan, Josh Hart game. He was in there getting his nose bloody, getting 14 rebounds, battling. Overall, the Knicks did not play an amazing offensive game. There were plenty of chances for the Hawks, but too many stretches where they could not score. It felt like there were some handoffs on the three-point line. Nobody really attacked. They were not really shooting the ball well. Too many bad possessions overall. The Hawks needed more fast break points, needed to speed up the pace. But the Knicks beat them 23-14 in fast break points. That is obviously not a recipe for the Hawks to win. The Hawks want to play fast. Coach Quinn Snyder wants them to play fast because they struggle in the half court. A lot of side-to-side stuff, not enough downhill stuff. But they rebounded the ball pretty well. They defended pretty well in stretches. As a team making their first collective playoff experience here, they have got to take some of the positives and chip away at the offense. How can they find some opportunities to get into the paint, draw, and kick? The analysts thought they played almost too fast. They were too frenetic. They turned it over. They had a hard time converting opportunities. So, take the good, keep chipping away at the bad, and see if they can gain that experience night to night in the series and claw back in it. One thing that was pretty glaringly obvious is the lack of depth at the center position that Atlanta does not have. Onyeka Okongwu does a good job. He is physically big enough to guard Towns, and he can move his feet, and he did some great things tonight. But after that, it drops off quickly. The analyst does not know what the Hawks would do. He was asked if he would try to switch those matchups. He does not know what you do because of just a lack of depth. It is a concern. Jalen Brunson not being available really hurts them. Not only does he give them a backup center, but he gives them a stretch 5, a little bit more shooting out there, rebounds. He is a little bit of a skill guy at the 5. So, they probably have to junk it up at different times, whether it's hedging sometimes, whether it's going a little bit of zone, or switching in zone behind, whatever it may be. They probably just have to take those minutes and try to make it chaotic in a different way. What they tried that was interesting was Hackimich, and it actually worked there in the third midway through the third. Mitchell Robinson was 1 for 4. They actually ended up taking Mitch out after like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, which obviously they miss him on the boards. But that was something that they tried, and it worked, and they are for sure going to look at it that way. They can take Mitch out and not have him be a huge factor on the boards. To the analyst, the Hawks are still a ball handler short. They are a penetrator short, a creator short. That showed up at times. Whenever D'Angelo Russell or CJ McCollum was on the bench, is there enough offense create? Ion, is there enough getting in the paint, spraying out? He just did not see enough playmaking there, especially in the second half. When the Knicks got a fast break or easy bucket, it looked like they made it a point to really get the ball quick and run. The analyst would love to see that from them every time the ball goes in the basket. Do not just run on misses. Do not just run on turnovers. Get the ball out quick. That is something the Indiana Pacers did last year. The analyst talked to Tyrese Halliburton before the game, and he said the similarities between their team last year and the Hawks this year. But when you have this type of matchup, you have to run at every single moment. They have to sustain it. They started it, and they did not finish it. For the Knicks, the positive side of this is you got your bench going finally. You wanted to see these guys get going as you got into the playoffs, and you got contributions from Landry Shamet, you got contributions from Jordan Clarkson. You always get contributions from Mitchell Robinson down there. So, that is positive for the Knicks as well going into obviously these games and into the playoffs. The analysts then talked about Karl-Anthony Towns. In his post-game interview, he said that in that first half, he was just rusty. He then got it going. What led to some success to close out the game? He is a talented player. His aggressiveness, like he said, he was a little slow starting. Also, Brunson and Mikal Bridges switching early in the first half. So, Brunson had opportunities to take that slight advantage and create. It was not necessarily getting back to Towns rightfully, with Jalen being so aggressive in those situations and so efficient. Second half, he got his opportunities. He started to put his head down. He started to be more forceful. He probably kicked a few off his foot in the first half. He fell a little out of rhythm. Second half, he felt more determined. He kind of got going a little bit. Made a couple shots, got to the line. It kind of pumped him up a little bit. So, he calmed down and felt like he was back in the second half. It is good to see for the Knicks' benefit. He has got to be a big part of what they do if they are going to make a long run again. Putting his head down is a big part of that, but that cannot be the end-all, be-all. Put your head down to get to the rim, and allow that to open up everything. If you have the shot, great. But too many times, sometimes we see a forced shot. And that is from all players. So, if the analyst was the coach for the Knicks, he is looking at film with him and saying, hey, let your drive, let your handle be how you create for others. He is good enough offensively. He knows when he can go score. But if he is thinking a little bit more pass first, that could open up things for some of these other guys, and sort of take the pressure off of, hey, I got to go score. You do not have to. Get to the paint, kick out. Paint touches are gold. In this league, and especially in the playoffs, he is capable of doing that. It was good to see him play this way. He is an interesting player because as a hub, he is a really good passer. Off the drive, he does not seem as comfortable passing. So, it is one of those things where, can he develop a little bit more just that early draw and play, and maybe give him some confidence to be more of a playmaker off the move? The analysts then discussed whether the Hawks should play Tony Bradley. Do you go with a bigger body? He has not been there that long, but he is a big body. He played with the Chicago Bulls. He has been in the league for a while. He has bounced around. He is not going to switch. You match his minutes with Mitchell Robinson. You bring him in, let him bang with Mitchell. He has got 6 fouls. If he needs to use them, he uses them. If not, maybe you do not get the rebound, but you make sure Mitchell does not get it. As for adjustments going into Game 2, the analyst said Jalen Brunson just needs to keep doing what he is doing. Start out the same way you started out. After a win, it is always a little bit difficult to try to find exactly what to change because you know they're going to change some things. So now you are trying to think, all right, well, we know they're going to change this. What do we think we should change, and what do we think we need to be ready to change if they do not change what we think they're going to change? It is tough. The crew then interviewed Jalen Brunson. He said he got off to a good start in the first quarter. The ball was going in, and he had a little bit of rhythm. Then, within games, things can go up and down. He just found a way to stay composed and still try to impact the game. He felt like he did that enough for them to win. He talked about the importance of Karl-Anthony Towns being involved and getting going for the team in the success of the series. He said it is very important. He is such a big-time factor for them. They need him at his best, and he is going to provide that for them. But they all have got to help each other out. When asked what they did to slow down Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who was a hot player for the Hawks going into the playoffs, Brunson said a little bit lucky. He thinks he missed some shots, some good looks as well. They just got to make it as difficult as possible for him. The way he has been playing all year, it is just something that they need to lock in on, and they got to continue to do so. But they know he is going to come back ready to go. When asked what he would like to improve upon going into Game 2, Brunson said their end of the fourth quarter execution. They could have closed that game a lot better than they did offensively and defensively. A little bit of the offensive rebounding as well. He thinks they got some key offensive rebounds to stop their run or start theirs. Those are some key factors that they need to hone in on. He also talked about the importance of getting contributions from guys off the bench. Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson. It is very important. In the playoffs, it comes down to who is going to play harder and what key plays are going to make your team win. You are going to know each other like the front to back of a book. You are going to know each other's plays. You are going to know each other's calls and everything. Just little extra things, the key plays, the attention to detail, those things are really going to matter. People stepping up as well. and they have the right personnel to do so. The crew also briefly discussed the Rockets and Lakers game. Kevin Durant was not playing, so that series is now wide open for the taking. If the Lakers can win one here, or even two at home, that would be incredible for them. They then showed highlights of the Timberwolves and Nuggets game. Anthony Edwards had 22 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks. Nikola Jokic had a triple-double. Jamal Murray had 30 points. They have now done that 10 times in the same playoff game, tied for the most in NBA history. Jokic said in his post-game interview that after the first quarter, they did not play their best. They had open looks, but they did not make them. They had a really good second, third, and fourth quarter. He thinks the third quarter was something that changed the game for them and gave them the momentum and energy. When asked what makes him and Jamal Murray so dangerous, he said, "Just playing together for a long time, experience of being in this moment. But it is not just him and Jamal. Everybody stepped up and everybody was big in big moments." When asked what this game specifically demanded from him, he said the Timberwolves are so versatile defensively. They can do so many things. They are a really good team. They are talented, big, tall. They have really good defenders, and they just make you do something that you are not used to doing. When asked how he goes about keeping momentum on his side, he said maybe just to not relax and to not think it is over. Winning the first game definitely matters and definitely feels good. But they did not come here to lose both games, and they want to win both games. So, it is going to be a really interesting second game. It is every game last 7 years. The crew also showed highlights of the Cavaliers and Raptors game. Donovan Mitchell had a game-high 32 points. He said in his post-game interview that he is just finding ways to win by any means possible. 32 is 32, but he is happy he got a steal at the end of the half. He got missed blockouts. He is finding ways to get rebounds. Those are the little details that carry over to wins. Their biggest problem was their 18 turnovers. They did not do a good job of taking care of the ball. They had a lot of situations where they were just careless with the ball. They have got to do a much better job of controlling that part. When asked what the ceiling is for this often, he said they will see. They have got a long way to go. Their job is to stay in the moment and take one game at a time. Things happen fast. Their job is to focus on what they can do better, watch film tomorrow, and come out in game 2 and be ready to go. They are going to come back and be more aggressive on both ends of the ball. So, they have got to hit first. It is just the playoffs. So here is my question to you in the comments. Can the Hawks bounce back in game 2? And will the Nuggets sweep the Timberwolves? Let me know. I read every single comment. As always, like, subscribe, hit that bell. We are building something special here. I will see you in the next one.